How's it going, everyone? This is Sincerely Donnie, aka The Quiet Storm, back again with another live stream. Here we are with the Lucid Voices live podcast for you, me, and poetry. I'm here with my brother, the your favorite poet's favorite poet, the the man that practices what he poetries. What else can I say about him? He's just a man of many talents, an amazing creator, and a dope poet. Everybody give it up for Kareem Ture really quickly.
Wow. You
That's
can
right.
hear me? You
Yeah,
can hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure my mic was working.
Gotcha. All right. So yeah. So we here, you know what I'm saying? You've been my business partner and my friend for about what? We've been friends for almost over 10 years now, and
Yeah,
we've been
yeah,
business partners for about five. Um,
yeah.
it's been a long time, man. So basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you some questions. Just get the energy going about you, me, and poetry that's happening September 28th
Okay.
at the Northeastern YWCA. That'll be in Schenectady, New York at 6 o'clock. Tickets are on sale right now. Just so you know, Kareem will be a feature at this event. So we're just gonna get some questions in and see how you're feeling about it. All right.
All right, let's go.
First question I always ask everybody is why poetry?
Oh, that's a good question to start off.
Mhm.
Obviously, that question is it's subjective. For me, poetry was a way of therapy and escape of hardships that I was dealing with as a young teen.
Mm,
So from that point on, I mean, at the inception of it all, that's what it was for me. And it wasn't until I got to like my mid 20s that I realized that, this thing could branch off into other arenas as far as like performing live in front of crowds,
mm,
and incentivizing it along with it being a passion of mine. Still to this day, I'm kind of like I forget about other ways that I could monetize this art, but then I also say to myself that speaks to the passion that I have for it. I don't do it to monetize it. I do it because I truly love the art form of it. It's like, I am poetry, you're poetry, all of us that have a love for the art, we are the art.
mhm, mm. So you say that this isn't about the money. This is about the heart of poetry and just being an artist. Um, so we are poetry. Go a little deeper into that. Why do you say we are poetry? Talk to me more about that.
Based on my definition of poetry, it's like poetry is just it's 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 everywhere. I feel like you can make poetry out of anything.
Mm,
As long as you have that creative gene in you, you could write about anything that, that you come across as far as like life experiences. You could see something. There's times where I could literally see something and it'll have me start brainstorming about things, and then I'll create like a concept, a piece about this concept, this particular concept, and it won't have anything to do with me personally. So I just feel like poetry is the word I could use is it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's everything.
mm,
I have the saying that poetry is God's first language
mm,
because poetry is creativity. And in the
mm.
beginning, that's what God did. God created, as they say, the heavens and the earths, and we are a reflection of God. So it's like we encompass that all.
Mhm. Mm. He said poetry is God's first language. I love how the people that we've interviewed so far have been speaking so poetically. It stands a testament to the fact that you are poets and you're creators.
Yeah.
So first question is, tell me about the first time you got on stage. What was the feeling that you had when you got on stage for the first time?
Man, I tell you, I used the bathroom before I got on stage, but when I got on that stage, I wanted to use the bathroom again. That was that. Man,
Mhm,
that was, geez, what was
mhm,
that? I feel like a old timer. That was
mm,
like 2017 the beloved the beloved Troy Kitchen, one of my favorite venues. Shout out to Troy Kitchen. Shout out to brother Corey, and also Shout out to the beautiful and talented D. Collin, who was the host of that
Mm,
venue. Shout out to her. It was such a dope space for all creatives, not just poets, but just all creatives of the 518 capital
mm,
region. But that was my first time at venue, 2017 at Troy Kitchen. And yeah, it was the natural feeling of nervousness, being anxious. And I once heard somebody say, like, if you're nervous, no matter how many times you've executed this art, it's just a testimony to how much you really want to do a good job.
mm.
So yeah,
Shout out to D. Collin for real. Honestly, she's an amazing
yeah,
artist. Dope. So, she once told me, if you're nervous, it means you care. You
right,
know,
yeah, exactly.
the feeling. Um, so over the years, you know what I'm saying. Let's talk about you a little bit. Let's beef you up. You are the author of how many books right now?
Oh man, I want to say 5, 6. Um,
5 or 6. Golly, man, you
yeah,
got a lot of books.
yeah, I gotta check my bookography, I guess, if that's what you want to call it.
Bookography.
Yeah.
Rolling with it, yeah. So when you started writing books, what name your first book, and what inspired you to publish a book? Actually, let's go off that.
My first book was titled ch Mahogany Scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
Mahogany Scriptures, that was the title of the book, and pretty much the foundation of it was I was still relatively fresh off of a separation of my former relationship at the time, and, at that time, it was that along with listening to one of my favorite neo soul singers,
Mm,
Maxwell, listening to his, first album called Urban Hang Suite, and
mm,
just listening to the playlist of that, and it inspired me to just go and, take that chance of, making my own body of work.
mm,
Already was writing for quite some time, but I never thought about writing a book, and also too, it was a coworker of mine who told me, like, I should write a book because my poetry was that good. So
mm,
with those 3 factors, those 3 elements I took into consideration, I just went ahead and just listen, it may not be in the best format, it may be a lot of grammatical errors, but it's one of those things where I was like, at least I could say, at least I did, and not I wish I did. And
mm.
that's just how that first body of work came about with all those 3 factors.
That's a So I'd rather say at least I did instead of I wish I did.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a great way to look at things. Kind of just like, you know what, I'd rather be upset at the fact that I did it as opposed to
Right.
regret sitting there thinking I should have done something. I like that. Okay. Let's dive into, let's dive into your poetic journey now. We've been working for a while. We're about to do you, me, and poetry.
Yes,
What
sir.
are your thoughts? What when I say the words you, me, and poetry, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
The first thing that comes to mind with that title is intimacy.
Mm,
Intimacy, a very closed space of people coming together for one thing.
mm,
And that's just, intimacy and wanting to hear what everybody has to say that is on the lineup as far as like poets go.
mm,
Also, it in some way it gives me a resemblance of Love Jones, the
mm.
trilogy we did. When I hear you and me in poetry, that's what I think about. I reference Love Jones. But yeah, that's what comes to mind for me when I hear that title.
Mm. Okay. Say intimacy. It definitely gives an intimate vibe. It's just kind of like
Yep.
you and me and whatever these words create. So
Yep, exactly.
I love it's like for the love of poetry and what are you gonna create out of these words? So, um, just
Did you
going
did you did you did you ask Mojave that? What did he say? Baby make it or something?
I forgot what he said. He said something real inspiring, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
He
Shout out
wasn't.
to brother. Shout out to Mojave.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't even want to get into what he be saying, man. Woo. But I was gonna say, um, when it comes to poetry, talk about your style. What type of poet do you envision yourself as, or what do people say you are as a poet?
Oh man. As of recently, I've had people come up to me after a performance and say, um, they've complimented me on my wordplay. They compliment me on my wordplay, my sentence structure, how I go about performing and delivering my spoken word. Um, Telling me that I'm dope, I'm nice, and I take it all in and I show appreciation to it because I never think that I'm bigger than the art. I'm bigger than the moment.
Mm,
I approach this passion, this love with a high sense of humility. And it's not in a sense of where I think of myself as less than, but I think of myself less
mm,
than the moment, like I said. So yeah, as far as my style, how I would describe it, I don't know. I don't really put myself in a box. I mean, if I was to say, I would just say like I'm just a free range spoken word artist. Like I don't put myself in one particular category. I feel like I could talk about anything. Even if I haven't touched a particular subject, it just takes me some time to
mm,
really like brainstorm and to come up with a body of work to where I can deliver it to the audience and communicate with them as far as, my stance or a
mm,
story that I create about that subject.
mm. So it's essentially don't box you in into any type of poem or poet.
Uh,
It just takes you some time. You someone I call like a master of the linguistic lullabies and things like that.
I
Definitely
appreciate that.
you got some bars that I didn't saved in my memory bank that I'll never use because it's your style and stuff like that. You know, I got a couple of those. We'll
I
dive into that in
appreciate
a little bit. Um, Tell me more about your favorite poem.
Oh man,
Favorite poem you performed and your favorite poem ever.
my favorite poem ever
Linguistic.
as of
Yeah.
right now, I would say it's a short piece. I would say it's the poet's prayer.
Mm,
I would say it's the poet's prayer because a lot of spaces that I've been a part of thus far, and God willing, expanding. There's been a lot of poets that have come out and they've expressed through the art form the hardships that they've gone through and how much poetry not was but still is a saving grace for them
mm,
as far as them still being in existence to this day physically.
mm,
And I'm one of those people to where poetry saved me
mm,
in a multitude of ways. So I wrote that piece, and I was playing around with it for a while, but then I finally got it together as far as like how I wanted to like compartmentalize it, what line goes here, so it could flow, and I
mm,
could deliver that message clearly to the audience. And every time that I do it, people love it. They love it. It resonates with them, and that's why I love that piece so much.
mm,
Um, I like perfect math as well
mm,
because it's for me it's a sensual piece to the woman. It's
mm,
not I feel like it's not over the top sexual.
mm,
Um, I feel like it's sensual and it shows an appreciation for the woman. And the lingo in that I use, not a lot of people catch on to what I'm saying in that piece. But for those that do, they just be like, "Oh, damn! Like, oh, man, the way you use that." And so it's like I like that, and yeah, that's what I have so far as the two pieces that I really like.
mm,
Um, I don't really perform it as much or as of lately, but I like the "I'm So Black" piece
mm,
because culturally, those those sayings a lot of Black people can relate to. Like,
mm,
and I feel like it's a combination of seriousness with humor, and that's why I like it so much because it gets people interacting with me during the piece. Like they'll be like, like there's been a lot of women that have heard that piece and be like, no, it don't, no, ketchup doesn't go on eggs, sugar doesn't go on grits, and it's just like that's what I like. I like
mm.
that. I like
Yeah.
that it creates that dialogue. amongst the crowd, or the crowd coming at me while I'm saying a certain line. I just like that overall energy.
Yeah, that feeling right there where you get the crowd going with you and everything.
Yeah,
It amplifies the performance at that moment in time. And the next thing you know, you just in an outer body experience.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Talking about that perfect math poem. Oh man, when you start hitting the PEMDAS, man, my juices start flowing. It's like, oh, I don't even know how you do it, but that's such a magical piece because like it goes over
Gosh.
people's heads, and like with you, the way you, oh, where he go? Hold on, y'all, give it a second. He'll be back in a few. Let me resend the invite to him. Hold on, everybody. Up there he goes.
Yeah, sorry
Up.
about that. Something happened. I don't know what happened.
It's technology. You know what I'm saying? We're back, y'all. Technical difficulties, but we're back here again. So like I was saying, yeah, that PEMDAS piece is something else. I'll tell you that much. And I love hearing the poet's prayer because it's short, it's sweet.
Yeah,
The one poem I love from you is happiness. And I think that's a staple of yours. Happiness is definitely something I love hearing every time. So, and then going off that I'm so black piece, yeah, that's a hit. That's a smash hit right there. Um, what was I thinking of? Right. So going off of all of that, what would you say is the most challenging part of performing for you?
the most challenging part of performing is struggling with how you imagine the feedback is going to be, and
Mm,
how it actually ends up when you're done with your piece. I think that I still deal with um anticipating. I'm sorry. Sorry.
but here, take your time.
Um, I was just give me 1 second. My
Hmm.
I just got word that my car door was open.
Oh no. Okay. Well, while he's doing all that, I'll give y'all a piece really quick. Um, Something I've been working on. Like I said, You, Me, and Poetry is coming out September 28th. That is 6 p.m. We have a lot of dope poets coming to the stage. Make sure you don't miss out on it. Let me see. I don't got nothing saved right now, so
Sorry about that. I'm back.
oh, you all set? You all good, bro?
So,
I'm
so
saying.
like I was like I was saying is just struggling with how you anticipate the reaction being after you're done with your piece, and how it actually turns out to be. Um, I put that pressure on myself to get that strong feedback and that, like, that round of applause. But then I also understand at times when I check myself and I sit and talk with myself internally that sometimes, people are going to give you that, and sometimes people aren't, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just as long as you still have that passion for the art, it's just
Mm-hmm.
going to keep on going. And, like I said earlier, I make that the forefront of the reason why I do this. It's just the passion that I have for the art form.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something for me is like, I'm still dealing with that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting it, but I still deal with that a lot.
Yeah, that's a very good thing that you brought up because like us as poets, dealing with criticism, dealing with that reaction, because one day you might have a standing ovation for your poem, and the next day you might hear crickets, and it's just
Right.
like one is knowing your audience, two it's understanding the art of the performance, because one day you might have it, the next day you're just like, I'm just gonna drag my feet through this one.
Mhm.
So how do you navigate criticism as a poet? And who do you compartmentalize to know this is someone I should listen to, and this is someone that really I could take a couple pieces from them and just move on with my life. How do you navigate criticism as a poet?
The way I navigate criticism as a poet is like the same way I navigate um life as far as criticism goes. I
Mm,
understand that, it comes with the territory and use it as I guess you could say, use it as bulletin board material to study and
mm,
try to find better ways on becoming better or how to deal with criticism if you're already at a level to where you can handle it much better
mhm,
than prior in
mm,
the past. So that's how I go about it. As far as like people that I listen to, um, obviously I listen to people like you. I listen to one of my favorite spoken word artists is Obi West. I listen a lot to
mm,
Obi West
mhm,
and just how he goes about his poetry and just the stuff that he talks about in his spoken word. Like it's real inspiring to me. And I aspire to be like him one day in a sense of packing the rooms as much as he does. But
mm,
just overall, as far as criticism and navigating it, just overall understanding that it just comes with the territory. And so far, I don't think I've really dealt with criticism within the space of poetry, but I know it's out there. I've had
mhm,
people come up to me in private and put me to the side and give me some tips and some pointers as far as like my pace, my cadence, um,
mm,
and just tweaking a couple of things.
mhm,
So, and for that, I'm thankful for that because that goes to show that they want me to become better. I feel like if people truly love you, they will tell you the things that you need to know rather than what you want to hear. So I think those people that have done that for me. Um, One of them is Brother Mojave. I remember the first Love Jones event. He came up to me and he told me like, slow your pace down. What you got to say is dope. Just slow it down a little bit, let it simmer, let it marinate so the people can catch it. And then from right then, after he told me that, I've gotten into the habit of slowing down my pace and making sure I'm, you know, letting things marinate as far as my wordplay and my sentence structure for the people.
mhm, mm. That's good. I love that.
Yeah,
And just being able to encompass that and take the time because it's a very I always say poetry is such a difficult performance art because it's literally you, a microphone, and a crowd,
yeah.
and sometimes it's hard to bring all that out. So you might rush or you might, you know, say something too loud or something like that, and it's not an easy task. So, sorry, just the train of thought that went on.
You're right. You're right.
hmm Talk to me more about just your journey right now as a poet. What can we expect from you? What has it been like? What's going on with Kareem Ture, the poet?
The journey has been great, man. I've been coming up consistently with new pieces, and every time I write a new piece, man, I just get excited. Like
Mm,
there's times I'll be here in my apartment, man. I'll be writing, and I'll come up with a piece. I'll revise it, and I'll be in here reciting, walking through the rooms, and I'll start saying the poem and I just start going crazy in my apartment because I'm just like, I'm so hyped and I'm like, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to drop this on. I'm like, I can't wait. I just like, I get so enthusiastic about it. Um, but as far as like genre of poetry I've been really working on, I guess you could say more a lot of like love poetry,
mm,
like love poetry, appreciation pieces. I'm working on a piece right now, specifically targeting like black men as far
mm,
as like the hardships that we deal with and the ways that we go about dealing with those hardships, the traditional ways that we go about dealing with it. It's not the healthiest by any means, but it's what we've been conditioned and programmed to do as far as like our handling of hardships and trials and tribulations. So I like the way the piece is coming out so far. I'm really, really looking forward to performing that to speak to the black man in regards to that. Um, I just wrote a piece about like 15 minutes ago.
mm,
Um, it was like a freestyle piece, but I like the way that it came out. Um, Yeah, and that's just where I'm at right now, man. I mean, I'm just working, man. That's all I'm doing. I'm working. The way I go about it is like I'll write a couple of lines here and there, and I'll put some stuff on the shelf. Like when I write 3, 4 lines, I put it
Mhm.
on the shelf because I don't want to force it. And then eventually, as I go about my day, I go about life, I'll like come up with more lines that'll go with those lines that I wrote a month ago. And that's how like lately my pieces have been coming together. That's how I've been like composing my pieces.
Mm. Just taking your time, one day at a time with each poem. I love the
Yeah,
fact that like you get excited about each poem that you write and when you put a piece together, because
yeah, yeah,
like I don't see your process, but I can tell you you got a process, and like there's
yeah.
probably like a dedicated time with you. You're like you're one of the most disciplined people I know. So I know you should have a dedicated time where you're just like I'm reciting this piece and nothing else is happening, you know. I
Yeah.
I yearn to have that level of discipline in my life. Um,
I
so
tell
I
people
know
all the time it wasn't easy getting to that point, and I'm still working on it. Still a work in progress, but it definitely ain't easy. It ain't. It's not.
it's never easy. It's just worth it. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. Last question, and I'm gonna have you do a poem, and then that should be it for our interview.
Oh,
What are
we
some
got to do a
gems?
poem.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you on the spot. This is a poetry podcast. I don't know why y'all don't have a poem ready, but
Uh,
so what are some gems you could drop to anyone trying to get into poetry? To any poets that are any creators in this space, just looking to get their feet wet or just on their own journey. What can you drop for them?
one word, right.
Mm,
Right. If
right.
if it comes to mind, right,
Hmm.
write it. Just write it. Don't worry about if it's gonna be dope at the moment. Don't worry about how people are gonna receive it. Just write. Like I said earlier, it's best to say at least I and not I wish I. There's been a lot of poems I've allowed to go to the poetic graveyard
Hmm.
because I didn't write it. I didn't
Mm,
write it down. There's a
mm,
lot of pieces that that are obituary for me because and it's like I get so mad at myself because I've had some dope stuff, but I think that I've been able to make up for that by the pieces that I have now and that I'm going to continue to create. But that'll be my advice for anybody that's looking to, break into this art form. Just write and write for you.
mhm,
Write for you. Don't get into the compare and contrast. Comparison is the thief of joy.
mhm.
That's what they say. So
Yeah.
don't compare yourself to another spoken word artist because you're going to be so worried about keeping up with them, trying to be better than them, then that's going to take away from your authenticity.
Mhm,
So just focus on you, focus on your style. Your style is your style. It works for you. And not everybody may receive it well, or it may not resonate with everybody, but it'll resonate with somebody.
mm,
And those people that it resonates with, that's your tribe.
mm.
That's your tribe. So I would just say to those people, that'll be my advice to them. Just
Gotcha.
get a pen, get a book, and just go to work, man.
Just
Go
don't
to
stop.
work. Yeah,
Just don't stop writing. I love that. Just
for sure.
right. The
That's right.
theme for this week is just right.
Just write it.
Just right. All right. That's all I got for you. Is there anything that you wanted to say before I ask you to spit this piece real quick?
Nah, man, I just appreciate you bringing me on. You know me, I don't
Mm.
do these interviews. I like to more so work in the background. So me coming out and doing this is a rare occasion.
It's
No, I'm
like,
just serious, man. I'm just in terms of doing this work, man, no matter what it is, I live my advice. And my advice is don't make yourself bigger than the moment. Don't make yourself bigger than the movement. That's just me though. I know a lot of people for their own valid reasons, they have to be at the forefront of everything. And that's cool to each his own. But yeah, man. Shout out to all the poets, man. 518 and abroad. Shout out to everyone in this country that dope spoken word artists for sure.
mm-hmm.
Shout
Thank
out
you.
to you, bro. You already know you've
Yeah.
come a long way, man. I'm really happy to see how far you've came, and you're gonna continue to have success. I remember first time we had to sit down at a restaurant, and you were trying to get a feel for how the poetry scene is. And this thing started during the pandemic, and there was some inconsistencies, and you wanted to throw in the towel, but I just kept telling you persistence, and look where you are because of it. So shout
Mm-hmm.
out to you. I'm proud of you. Keep up the success. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
September 27th, the Honey Drip Takeover. Following that, September 28th, You, Me, and Poetry.
Mm-hmm.
So get your tickets. We doing promotion. Show
Mm-hmm.
some support. You're not going to want to be anywhere else those 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
And as Brother Mojave would say, we're not responsible for any baby making after those 2 nights of poetry. So y'all can't sue
Oh,
us for after what you hear and
no,
it enticing you.
we are not. No, we are not. Man,
Man,
it's gonna be one magical weekend, I'll tell you that much. And then after
it
that, we go
sure
into
is.
hibernation. Don't ask me for nothing. If you get if you get pregnant, that's on you. But that's another story for another day. Let's hear something. Give us some. Give us something for the people. You know what I'm saying? What you got for us?
All right, this is a piece I wrote. I'm gonna try to memorize it as much as I can. All right. She catches my eye as she cashes me out. $4.44 is what comes out her mouth. That amount perfectly makes sense because this moment is angelic. How is it that I'm at this market wondering if she's on the market? And all I came here for was some spring water. I'll be transparent. It's transaction, 2 words. Get it? I'm more invested in her aesthetic, her head wrapped in black African garment. I could tell God is the artist, the way he crafts carbon and turns awesome out of hardship. Magician, magicians, I'm sorry. I could tell that God is her artist, the way he takes carbon and crafts awesome out of hardships, dips his paintbrush in madness and creates her into magic. Magician fixins of be as it is. I can tell that her skin is kin to shooting star essence, because many men, when they see her, wish upon her to be with. Oh, yeah, appreciate that.
For this exchange, the way you put words together, man, make me want to quit. I'm not good like this, but god damn, that boy good, y'all. Yeah, is he good, y'all? Is he
I'm
good?
surprised. I'm surprised I messed up a little just at one time because that's a fresh piece. I just wrote that 15 minutes ago. So, and I took a chance on performing it just now. But yeah, that's something that'll definitely come back around.
15 minutes ago you wrote that. Listen, I need to step my pen up because you out here just wilding, talking about 444 spring water, and you know what I'm
But
saying. Hey, you gonna get somebody pregnant in a couple weeks, and I don't want to hear nothing. You gonna get somebody gonna have a baby and name him Kareem because of you,
metaphorically,
metaphorically speaking. All right, like I said, this has been this week's edition of the Lucid Voices podcast, presenting You, Me, and Poetry, featuring the one and only Kareem Ture. I am sincerely Donnie, aka the Quiet Storm, your host with the most for tonight's evening. I want to behoove you all to show up to September 28th and September 27th for our open mic on the 27th with the Honey Drippers taking over, and then You, Me, and Poetry the day after on the 28th. You, Me, and Poetry is a paid event. It is $20 on Eventbrite right now. You can find it on my page, on all my social media pages. At the door, it's 25. We will have vendors, we'll have food, we will have refreshments. So come ready for some poetry. It's a show. The Honey Dripper Takeover is September 27th at the Electric City Barn. It is a free event, y'all. Kareem will be at both. He may bless you with some poetry. He may not, but he will be in the building. So I'm pretty sure he's going to drop something. All right. So I suggest y'all bring yourselves, bring a date, bring your friends' friends, tell your mama, your pappy, your sister, your uncle, everybody. Okay. Bring them all. And I will see you all next week with our next guest. So be ready for all that. Kareem, as always, thank you. It's always a
Appreciate
pleasure.
you, bro.
It's always an honor to hear from you and hear the gems that you got and the amazing poetry that you drop all the time. Because now I gotta write
Likewise.
tonight. I gotta write
Likewise.
tonight. But that's it for the stream, y'all. I hope y'all have a good day.
Appreciate you, bro. Peace.